Defense made a motion for a mistrial. Prosecutor was up to some fuckery. Potentially damaging evidence, no basis for it. The judge specifically said, do not ask that question. Do not use that as evidence. She walked right down the path and asked the question. It may be over on Tuesday morning. Batman Bruce Wayne bitch snitch. Gerald Brooks, your constitution does not apply to me because I'm a sovereign citizen, a traveler on the land. I'm the Moorish Empire or whatever, bitch snitch. Because they're so fucking absurd. If you want to be a sovereign citizen, just do yourself a favor first. Go to YouTube here and just get every sovereign citizen that's ever been before. Find me one that won. God dang, you're right. Don't go down this. It's not the path. Don't have time for stupidity. Some clever dick on the internet didn't find the great loophole in all of the world's law. Bitch snitch. God dang, you're right. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. God dang, you're right. Moorish Empire. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Moorish Empire. God dang, you're right. Traveler on the land. Bitch snitch. Late evening U.S. people.
What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God! No!
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, why you're doing it in the first place, etc., etc. Just glad you're here with me doing it today. Today is day 2.2 of the LEILANI Simon trial. And before we get going, we have a very, very short housekeeping thing today. Not a lot to talk about. I got to admit, I'm in a bit of a mood today, so I'm in a bit of a mood. Just not every day can be a perfect day. Not every week can be a perfect week. This is a less than perfect one, but I'm going to try not to let it to affect what's going on here. Today is day. Where'd it go? Today is day 50. Of course. Hang on. I need to do one thing real quick here. Let's delete that and add this. Add this. We have to add something here real quick. I thought I'd done that. Clearly I didn't. So there we go. Right now, here we go. Today is day 50 of the emotional support potato pig dogs. We have done this 50 days in a row. Will day 51 happen? It's entirely up to you. If we unleash the emotional support potato pig dogs for day 51, it's entirely in your hands, and we'll leave it at that. You know what to do to get us there. Right. Well, as the entire planet knows, and this is the only announcement I am going to make about it. So we'll let the mods kind of mention it in chat every now and then as we go through today. Today is election day in the U.S. This is a politics-free zone. This is a safe space from politics. This is a safe space from that sort of stuff. So if you're tired of the politics, this is the place to be. I'm not going to mention it. It's not going to be mentioned. This channel is a safe space. Join me here now for the less divisive and less controversial subject of child murder. That's what we're here to discuss, not this divisive politics stuff. So you will not be banned, but your comment will be removed. But if you continue to have your comment removed, then some timeouts may need to be in order. But I trust all of you to not fall afoul of that. So yes, mods, if anybody posts anything about anything election politics, mentions the candidates' names, whatever, just calmly and without much comment, delete the comment. There are many other places to look at politics, and this isn't one of them. So that's it. That's the only thing I have to say. But other than that, coincidentally, also today in 1605 was the famous gunpowder plot to blow up the King of England. It is Guy Fawkes night. It is gunpowder plot. It is gunpowder treason day. Remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes and his companions did the scheme contrive to blow up the king and parliament, all up alive. 70 barrels laid below to prove old England's overthrow. By God's providence, the him they catch, with a dark lantern lighting a match. A stick and a stake for King James' sake. If you won't give me one, I'll take two. The better for me and the worse for you. A rope to hang the Pope, a pen'orth of cheese to choke him, a pint of beer to wash it down, and a jolly good fire to burn him. Hello, boys, make the bells ring. Hello, boys, God save the king. Hip, hip, hooray. Guy Fawkes night. All right, with that, we are ready to get on the move here. We have Matilda kicking us off with the super chat to the €2. So thank you so much for the super sticker, which happens to be a purple person saying me. How are you doing, Matilda? Good morning in the Netherlands. Good afternoon in the Netherlands, I guess. Howdy from Korea. And Sonny or Chris. Now, Chris, see, I know, you got to tell me the Cajun way here. I saw the discussion in chat yesterday. Are we saying Sonny or Chris or Sonny Chris? That's my question for you. Good morning, Jeff. Off topic question. What steering wheel did you end up with for ATS? I'm struggling with mouse and keyboard. I got the Thrustmaster T128. That's what I use. So it's the Thrustmaster T128 for PC and PlayStation. You can also get it for Xbox, etc. All right. Now, see, we're letting him answer the question, not anybody else. We're letting him answer the question. So, Chris, are we a Sonnier Chris or a Sonnier Chris? Tell us the Cajun way of doing things. Okay. And as I said, I'm in a mood, so there'll be no wine or whiskey consumed unless, of course, the chat, the super chats demand. Because when I'm in the mood, adult beverages aren't something that happens. So it's pure New Zealand sparkling spring. Well, it's not sparkling spring water. It's mineral water. Pure New Zealand mineral water. All right. Okay, everybody. That's it. The last thing we got to do is our like and subscribe poll for the day, which is already up. I was just thinking about this particular defendant here, and I thought, we don't torture people anymore. We don't put people to torture. So I thought, what good old torture should be brought back? Your choices today for what good old punishments need to be brought back. One is hung, drawn, and quartered. Now, to be hung, drawn, and quartered, essentially, if you saw Braveheart, at the end, Braveheart was hung, drawn, and quartered. They drag you, they used to drag you by the horse, like behind the horse they would draw you behind the horse, and they would hang you until you were just about dead. And then they would lay you out on a block. They would chop your manhood off. They would disembowel you, and then they would lop your head off and basically chop your body up into 4 pieces and send them to different corners of the realm. That was what being hung, drawn, and quartered was. Walking the plank, that was a good old naval thing, a good old maritime thing, where that was it. They just stuck a plank out the side of the ship, and you walked off, and they kissed you goodbye and waited for the sharks to get you. And the third choice is being keel-hauled. Now, we've all heard the phrase being keel-hauled, I would imagine. What that was a little bit more unpleasant than walking the plank. Of course, walking the plank was normally fatal, but being keel-hauled could be fatal, and many times I guess people wished it was fatal. What they would do is they would tie a rope from one side of the ship around the bottom of the ship and up the other side of the ship. And they would tie it to you, and they would throw you off one side of the ship and very slowly pull you underwater, down underneath the ship, and down under the keel. So they would haul you across the keel and then up the other side. And then they would put you down on that side and slowly pull you under the boat and up the other side. So that's being keel hauled. And the final one has been described as one of the worst tortures in the history of mankind. It was the brazen bull. They essentially had a giant brass bull that had a little door in the side. They would put you inside of it, and they would just park the thing over a fire. And you would essentially be roasted inside this brazen bull, this gigantic bull. You'd be roasted and steamed and burnt alive. Meanwhile, you're standing where the fire is. It's heating up. It's burning bits and pieces of you. And they apparently had it rigged so the smoke would come out of the bull's nostrils, your smoke, because the fire is underneath. The smoke coming from inside where you are, your burning flesh smoke would come out of the nose. And apparently it had this like acoustic sort of trumpety thing in it. So when you would scream, it would come out sounding like a bull's bellow. So it's been described as perhaps the worst torture in human history. So there you go. Which of these good old punishments need to be brought back? Hung, drawn, and quartered, walking the plank, being keel-hauled, or the brazen bull? That's your question to answer, and that's it. Let's get into this thing here. We are, looks like we're about 97 away from unleashing the emotional support potato pig dogs for day 51. All right. That's it, peeps. Let's go. We, as you may recall, we left off day 2.1 with show and tell. The officer who took 435 pictures, somewhere around there, and they're going to introduce, I believe, around 115 into evidence. We are now on picture number 51. So the first little bit is just going to be introducing the pictures taken around the house where LEILANI Simon was alleged to have deleted her child and then drove him down the road and threw him in a dumpster, where he was picked up by a garbage truck, compacted, taken to the city dump, dumped, and shredded under the wheels of a giant earth mover, where he laid for about 6 weeks until the searchers found bits and pieces of the 20-month-old boy. So let's see what the allegedly murder house looked like. Here we go. On that happy note, let's go. Well, all right, there we go. We got what do you call these things? Closed captions. You got closed captions, and we've got 1.25 speed. We might be able to bump this to 1.5 speed because it's just pictures of the house.
I bet earlier through the door. Yes. 51.
Let's continue panning to the right. Now you can see the shower that.
52.
That's the shower. I'm starting to make my way around the bathroom.
53.
Continue panning right. You got a sink and a mirror.
And 54.
54. This is above the toilet. The toilet's at the bottom.
Okay, my question is, can anybody hear
I'd
that?
like to zoom in on this storage shelf here. See that little bottle with the blue, red, and yellow label? What is that?
Ambisol.
Do you know what Ambisol is?
It's a oral pain relief.
Okay. Something like a liquid.
Okay, that's actually interesting. Oh, it's very soft. Okay, so that means I'll have to quiet myself down here. There. Okay, I'll quiet myself down. How's that sound? Because he's no longer talking into the microphone, so I'll bring my volume way down like this, so you can all turn up the volume on your end. This is interesting because you remember one of her explanations to the police was that she had to go get some Orajel because she had some tooth problems that day. Well, she's got at least a third empty bottle of Ambisol in the house. That is essentially the same thing as Orajel. I actually prefer Ambisol to Orajel. So she had this numbing stuff already in the house in plain sight right there, which would sort of make it unnecessary for her to go anywhere to get Orajel.
You rub on your gums or teeth to relieve dental pain?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now 55, where are we here?
55, we're in the bathroom looking into the dining room. The dining room door from the previous photos is on the left, and then you have a little dog cage and then dining room table on your right.
56?
Just panning through the dining room, you can start to see the kitchen entrance door or entrance on your right hand side.
57?
57, the dining room doors are right behind me looking into the kitchen through the dining room.
58?
Continue panning right. That's a little storage closet. And you have a deep freezer.
Still in the dining room here?
Still in the dining room.
And 59, where have we moved and what are we looking at?
So I have moved around. The kitchen entrance is to my left. I'm in that corner and I'm looking towards the bathroom door. And you can see the dining room door on the very right of the picture.
All right, so that dark wood door in the middle that we're looking at is the door that you came through to get into the dining room?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the white door on the right is the door to the outside.
Yes, sir.
They call the dining room door. 60?
Now I'm on the other side of the dining room or the kitchen door. The closet is going to be on my left.
All right, let me know how my volume balance is compared to the court right now, please.
See the dining room door leading outside.
61, you just pan to the right a little more.
Yes, sir.
62, same.
Same.
63, same.
Same.
And 64, where are we now?
64, we are in the kind of doorway and looking into the kitchen from the dining room.
And can we see the sinks in this picture?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned there's something that you called a pass-through window over the sinks. Is that at least partially visible in this picture?
Yes, sir. If you look at it looks like pill bottles. Right behind that is just the pass-through. There's an open window right before you get to those pill bottles.
Kind of an unusual feature of the house.
I think so.
65, where are we here?
Back, I'm still at the doorway. I just kind of pan left. You can start to see the oven and the stove.
And that stove is on sort of a peninsula that juts out into the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
66, where are we now?
So now I'm on you can see the doorway entering the kitchen from the dining room.
That's on the right there. That's the door you came through.
Yeah, and then the oven and the stove are now on my left.
Okay. So you stepped into the kitchen and turned around, basically.
Yes, sir.
67.
Continue or panning left from the same position. You can stove and then a little storage closet.
And 68, where are we here?
68. The stove. Kind of from that picture earlier, I went around the stove, and I'm on the other side of the refrigerator, looking towards the sink, and then you can see the little pass-through window from there.
What's that in the bottom right corner? Or I'm sorry, bottom left
A
corner?
pastor window. I know that's like a hole in the kitchen, but why is it called a pastor window?
Sir.
69,
Just pan to the left a little bit, same spot.
70,
Continue to pan left.
and what's that on the left side that we're seeing there?
That's the pantry,
And 71,
and the full pantry.
72.
Continue to pan left for the pantry.
All right, 73, what are we looking at here? Where are we going?
So I am closer to the pantry now, and this is the doorway into that little L-shaped hallway.
74,
Just looking through the little doorway into the L-shaped hallway. The white door on the right is another little storage closet pantry thing.
and that's out in the hallway.
Yes.
All right,
So
75,
he's saying
where are we moving?
pass
What are we
through
looking at?
window?
I am in the hallway
Pass
now.
through window.
The opening to go into the kitchen will be on my right, and this is the little storage closet that I had in the previous picture with the door.
Just in case anybody's dizzy or confused at this point, I'm pulling up this diagram. Can you just come down and point to us where you are at this point in time and which direction you're looking?
So right now, I will be right here.
Okay. So the hallway in the top center of State's Exhibit 9.
Yes, sir.
Okay. 76.
Pretty much I've done a 180, and now I'm looking down the hallway.
Okay. 77.
I've walked through the previous opening, look left. The doorway in front of you is the doorway leading into the living room. On the left-hand side is the opening to go from the kitchen. And then on the right, very right.
And this house has the weirdest layout.
So you're looking down the hallway that's on the other side of that pass-through window over the sink.
Yes.
78.
Move closer to the living room opening. The opening or the kitchen opening will be on my left, and that stairwell will be my right.
Tiffany
79.
asked, how many days
A
is
little
this
bit further,
trial?
starting to get
I believe it was 9.
into the living room.
Now this is as good. This is as balanced as the volume can get. I hope it's okay.
It's a couch, like an L-shaped couch.
Okay. 80.
Into the living room, starting to pan to the right, getting the full living room. You got a big entertainment system, and the L-shaped couches on the left. So
Now 81. Where have you moved here?
this I am behind the couch. I guess not the other picture. Kind of between the front door and the laundry room area.
The messy ass house.
82. Where are you here?
I'm on the other side of the couch, looking towards the front door. That big TV entertainment thing would be behind me.
All right. And what is the living room door
I'm sorry,
partially visible?
living room door. Yeah, at the very right, you'll see the living room door.
Okay. Is it the blue thing or is it beyond that?
Beyond that, it's I guess the white door with the colors on it. I don't know if y'all can see that in that picture. Far right.
So right here?
Yes, sir.
83.
83, I've panned left from the view of the front door, and now you can see the little laundry area.
84.
Always be suspicious of somebody that has
Continue to
934 pillows on
Zooming
their
in here
sofa.
in the middle. Is this the hallway that you came through to get in
Yes, sir.
to the room in the first place?
Yes, sir.
And what have we got here?
So I have panned left all the way, and then this is the doorway to go into the master bedroom.
Now, did you go in the master bedroom?
I did.
And did you take pictures in there?
Did.
Is there a bathroom in there as well?
There, sir.
Did you take pictures of all of that?
Yes, sir.
Where are we here? In
Um,
86?
This is going back into the hallway that I entered the living room from.
All right. And what are we looking at in the top middle of the frame?
Top middle is the pass-through for the kitchen.
87, where are we here?
I've panned left and starting to get pictures of the staircase.
88,
The staircase to go upstairs.
89. When you get to the top of the stairs here at the landing,
To your left is a bedroom. Straight ahead of you is the bathroom, and then to your right is another bedroom.
90.
This is entering the bedroom on the left-hand side.
Okay, left as you're looking up the stairs.
Yes, sir.
91.
This is the view into the bedroom from the doorway. You have a closet door on your right. The bed was kind of at an angle.
92.
This is from a view from that closet door I mentioned previously, looking towards the other closet.
93,
Just continue to pan it left.
94,
Pan left even more. You can see a little L-shaped couch, little seating area right there.
and 95.
This is from the other side of the room, and that's the door I entered to come into the room.
Okay, so if you just walk in the room to the far side and turn around. 96, where are we here?
This is the view from the bedroom I'm in across the hall into the next bedroom.
97,
This is from the doorway, looking right. You can see a, oh, I can't remember what that was, kind of like a little dresser thing. There's a little closet door, and you can see a start of a children's bed.
all right, so you just stepped into the doorway for the other bedroom upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Turn to the right.
Now,
98,
now I panned a little bit left. You can see the bed. You can see another mattress on the floor.
99,
99, pan left a little bit. You can see a crib and a closet in this one.
100,
I've stepped into the room. I'm on the right wall looking towards the closet, panning to the left.
what is all this stuff over here?
A bunch of clothes and toys, I believe.
Did this room appear to you to be being used, or did it appear to be something more like a spare room or a storage room?
It didn't appear to be used at this point in time.
101 is, are we looking here at the door that you came in?
Yes, sir.
And is on the left side, is this that
So like,
dark wood piece of furniture that we saw earlier?
yes, sir.
And 102, where are we here?
My back is towards the bunk bed, looking at the wall across. You can see the door I entered on the right-hand side.
All right. 107, where are we?
That is the detached garage outside.
Now, the carport with the RV under it, or the garage with the door on it?
This is the garage with the door.
Are we still looking at the garage here at 108?
Yes, sir.
109, another picture of the garage?
Yes, sir.
And what is that right there in, on the floor of the garage in 109?
That's a stuffed Mickey Mouse toy, a little racing suit.
Thank you. 110, were these the trash cans that we saw very early on outside in that rack?
Yes, sir.
Did you guys take them out of the rack, open them up, and see what was in them?
Yes, sir.
Just trash?
There were some other items in there. I had a pillow, a red rag, and some documentations, and a welcome home mat.
111?
111. This is the Dodge Journey that was parked outside the garage. Or
Could you just read the tag into the record?
TEN 9300
Georgia?
Georgia tag.
112, what are we looking at here? What is that?
These were items taken out of the trash can in the kitchen.
So y'all look in the garbage, see what's in there?
Yes, sir.
Normal household garbage?
For the most part.
113,
These are receipts that they located in the garage or the trash can.
Cheddar's Restaurant,
Yes, sir.
and then in 114, some other trash. All right. So, after the 5th, were you involved?
All right, we got through show and tell.
And photographing some other evidence.
Yes, sir.
Did you photograph the Dodge Journey?
Yes, sir.
Where did that take place?
FBI Savannah.
And how did the vehicle get from 535 Buckhalter to the FBI Savannah office?
It was towed.
Do they have a secure lot there that they can hold vehicles in?
Yes, sir.
And when did you search the Journey?
That would be on the 6th.
6th of October?
Yes, sir.
And you took photographs of it when you did that?
Yes, sir.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 11?
Yes, sir.
Can you look through this and tell us whether that is a selection of the photographs that you took of the Journey?
Yes, sir.
Is it that? The document in front of you, is that the selection of photographs?
Yes, sir.
of the Journey? Is it, did those photographs fairly and accurately depict the vehicles that appeared to you on the 6th?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I offer this in as state's exhibit.
What's going on here is a woman on trial for murdering her 20-month-old son.
All right. First image in state's exhibit 11 is on the screen. Can you tell us what this is?
Again, this is the photo log that we put at the beginning of all of our photos. The case number, the location where I was at, 2003 Chatham Center Drive. Signal was still missing child. I was still the investigator. The date was 10/6/22, and the time was approximately 16:14.
4:14 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Those of us on 12-hour time.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, slide 2. What are we looking at?
This is the view of the front of the journey.
Slide 3.
The driver's side front,
4.
driver's side,
5.
the rear,
6.
passenger side rear,
7.
passenger side. And just kind of pan to the right and got the rest of the passenger side.
8.
Passenger side front.
9.
This is the driver's side door open.
10.
Nope, sorry. 10. That's
Yeah,
the driver's
go on
side.
the screen with me. You can see it on.
That's the driver's side door.
11.
Driver's seat and the floor area. That's some trash on the floor. Yeah, two alcohol bottles and like a little wooden skewer.
What's this alcohol bottle here?
Fireball.
And then this other one here is something called
Curveball.
curveball. Do you know what that is?
Not 100% sure. I think it was whiskey, something like that.
13.
That's still the driver's side steering wheel, and you can see the gear shifter. That's the driver's side rear door.
All right, and I just got to be clear for the record, we're on 14. That's the rear driver's side door.
Yes, sir. This
15.
is looking into the back seat from the driver's side.
16.
This is the rear of the vehicle with the hatch open.
Now, this whitish substance, is that something that you all put in there?
No, we did not put that.
Was it already in there when you opened the car up?
Yes, sir.
And had you in fact seen it at the scene the day before on the 5th?
The trunk?
I mean, had you seen through the window that there's
Yeah.
some stuff in there?
Yes.
Okay. So this was in there during the police response?
Yes, sir.
It's already there. It's not something that got in there between the 911 call, or at least between police arrival and your photographing car.
Yeah, they had it.
Do you know what it was?
Not 100% sure. We did do a little, we took a sample of it and we did do a little self-test there.
Sorry about
Kinda
that. Had
through
a
the, like kid cereal.
had a call. Part of my awesome
Like a-
day.
We took a sample of it, put it in some hot water and started up. Kind of had a grainy oaty smell.
A grainy OT smell?
Yeah, or weedy smell.
And did it dissolve in water?
OT
Did it
smell.
appear to
Like
you
it smelled like
to be some
oats.
kind of children's cereal?
It did. This is the passenger side rear door. And looking into the vehicle from the passenger side.
What's that there in the floorboard?
That is a natural light beer can.
19,
Front passenger door.
20,
That's the front passenger floorboard and the seat.
21. That's it for station exhibit 11.
Yes, sir.
20.
I solved the mystery of who this woman in pink is. She is a local TV reporter. Now that I got a good look at her, in that interview with her and her mother, with not the reporter, with the defendant LEILANI Simon and her mother, where they were pretending to cry and wanting their child back. She was the reporter on scene that was reporting on that. So that I'd seen her somewhere before. Oh, don't yawn. Oh,
Is it
I remembered her
also
because she was
part of
pretty.
The forensics unit to collect video footage.
Yes, sir.
You sometimes get them from ring.
and I must also say I remember her because the channel she worked for, they did a copyright claim and took down that stream because I used their news report. So I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at her station.
Doorbells on people's houses,
Yes, sir.
for businesses.
Yes, sir.
Um, Did you participate in an effort to obtain relevant video footage in this case?
Yes, sir.
And was that centered on the Chevron Azalea Mobile Home Park area near the intersection of Ogeechee Road and Buckhalter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you go to the Chevron that's right next to the Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, sir.
And did you obtain video footage from there?
Yes, sir.
And when was it that you did that?
On the 7th.
7th of October,
Yes, sir.
2020.
Yes, sir.
So 2 days after the 911 call, you're out there at the Chevron getting video footage?
Yes, sir.
And for what time period did you obtain video footage from the Chevron?
Can I look at my report real quick? We got from approximately 1:18 to 1:30ish.
Is that all you collected, is 1 minute of video footage?
Let's see. That's more than 1 minute.
Okay. Well, what I'm asking is, like, what general time frame? I'm not asking what the notable or relevant portion was. I'm asking you, what is the general time frame you were getting video footage for?
Approximately maybe like 2 to 5 minutes.
Okay. Now, did you see during that time period, what was you said, 1:15 to 1:18 or something like that?
1:18 to like 1:30ish.
1:18 to 1:30ish?
Yeah.
Did you see on that footage what appeared to be the Dodge Journey that you photographed?
Yes, sir.
And did you see whether that vehicle did or did not stop at the Chevron?
Yes, sir. It did not.
And did it stop at the Chevron?
No,
during that
sir.
time period? Okay. Could you nevertheless see the vehicle in the Chevron footage?
Yes, sir.
But what did it do?
It traveled north on Ogeechee, turned into the Azalea parking lot road, and drove past the Chevron into Azalea.
Okay, so you can see it in the footage, but it's not stopping at Chevron, it's driving by the Chevron and turning into Azalea Mobile Home Plaza.
Yes, sir.
Did you also collect surveillance footage, security footage from Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
I did.
From a number of different cameras, correct?
Yes, I believe there was 3.
And did that footage?
The only one that's using the
appear to
microphone
show,
properly is the paper.
The Dodge Journey that you photographed, entering and driving around in Azalea Mobile Home Plaza during the period of, say, I don't know, 1:15 in the morning to 1:20 something in the morning
Yes, sir.
on October 5th, 2022.
Yes, sir.
When did you go out and get that Azalea footage?
The same day.
All right, October 7th.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that Sergeant Coleman is your sergeant with the crime scene unit, forensics unit.
Yes, sir.
Was he present with you on the 7th when you got that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was he supervising the operations as the sergeant for the unit?
Yes, sir.
And did he see and participate in, did he see the footage that y'all were looking at and participate in its collection?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sometime after the 7th, when you'd gotten this footage from Azalea showing the defendant's car, did you realize that the timestamps for Azalea's cameras appear to be off?
Yes, sir.
Like incorrect?
Yes, sir.
And did you do anything to memorialize what the timestamp discrepancy actually was?
We returned back to the scene and use our phones we put our phones up to the live view and took pictures of it so we could get a real time compared to their time.
Okay. And is the idea there that the time, the time on your phone is accurate?
Yes, sir.
And so you can compare the time showing on your phone to the time showing on the camera and figure out how far ahead or behind it is?
Yes, sir.
Right. And what was the time stamp discrepancy with the Azalea footage? How far ahead or behind the actual time was it?
I believe it was right around 8 minutes.
Behind or ahead?
Behind.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
On the 7th, when you went out to Azalea to collect the footage initially, did you take some photographs while you were out there?
Yes.
And when did you go back and do this deal with the phones to document the timestamp discrepancy?
On the
Would it refresh your memory to look at the photo card from that?
yes.
Do you see in front of you a document labeled States Exhibit 55?
Yes.
Feel free to look through that and tell me whether it refreshes your memory as to when you went out and memorialized the timestamp discrepancy.
The old legal fiction of refreshing your memory by reading the
9th of October
report.
2022.
Why, yes, it does refresh my memory because I
Looking
just
at
read
States
it.
Exhibit 55, does it clearly, fairly accurately depict Azalea as photographed by you on the 7th and as photographed by you on the 9th as well.
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move this in State's Exhibit 55.
Objection, Your Honor.
And may I publish, Your Honor? All right. State's Exhibit 55 is up on the screen, specifically the first image in that exhibit. Is this your photo card from the 7th?
Yes, sir.
And this is the day you initially collected the footage?
Yes, sir.
Now, slide 2, what is this here? What are we looking at?
These are the mini dumpsters in Azalea Mobile Home Park.
All right. And what is that we see on the far right side of the frame?
There's a white Jeep
All right.
belonging to one of the staff members of Azalea.
Okay. And that is sitting right next to the standard dumpsters, right?
Yes, sir.
Moving to slide 3.
And yes, that was the that was the dumpster where her child was thrown away, which she described as throwing away some stinky shrimp pasta because it was stinking up the car. And on that cheerful note, Adair K has gifted 5 Legal Vices memberships. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. That's truly, truly appreciated. That puts us well on our way to unleashing the emotional support potato pig dog cams. And Marie Antoinette said, I think she got angry because Quentin vomited on his bed and she did something, maybe hit too hard. You know what? That's something I hadn't thought of, but they did find the vomit on the pillow. That could very well be. Huh. But again, I know we'd like to know how and why, but as the prosecutor mentioned in his opening statement, we don't need to know how and why. We just have to know that she did. They just have to prove she did it, not why she did it or how she did it. But could be right.
Where are we? First of all, where are we?
So we are, this building on my right is the Azalea main office, right as you enter the park. If you look in the distance, you can see the white Jeep from the previous photo.
I've zoomed in here. Is that the white car that we just saw in the last picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And off to the left of it, is this one of the dumpsters?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this picture, zooming back out, did you take this picture?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you standing right underneath the camera?
Yes.
All right. And that camera, is it affixed to
Kind
the
of
side of the management?
It's yeah, I believe it's on a little patio covering.
Say again.
I believe it's on a patio covering.
Okay. And again, were you standing more or less right under it?
Yeah, my camera was right under it.
And was the goal of this photo kind of figure out what direction is this camera looking and what is the field of view going to show in terms of the car sitting at the dumpsters?
Yeah.
Okay. So we see, at least as you're standing there, you can see this car sitting at the dumpsters, but it is a ways off.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what is this in the foreground here? This area that's bounded by this fence.
It's like a little maintenance area where they store, I guess, their machinery. It's in the property, the office property.
Moving on to slide 4, what are we looking at here?
This is the photo log for the 9th when we return to get the comparison photos from the phone and the timestamp on the videos.
Now, how many cameras did you all collect footage from Azalea for, I don't know, the early morning hours of the 5th and the late night hours of the 4th? Do you remember how many cameras total?
I believe there was 3 cameras at Azalea.
Okay. And did each one of those 3 capture, at least seem to capture the Dodge journey that you photographed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to just talk to you about these next few pictures. Slide 5. Where are you as you take this picture?
So this one, I'm inside the office, holding a cell phone here, and then had another officer hold their cell phone on the camera view, from outside, and then you have the timestamp right above that.
Okay. What is this monitor here that you're looking at?
That's their computer monitor for inside the office.
And is that monitor showing you the current video feed from that camera that you were just standing under in the previous picture?
Yeah, it's the live view.
Okay. What is the time showing on your phone?
12:20.
Okay. And that's 20 minutes after noon, is that right?
Yes, sir.
On the 9th.
Yes, sir.
And it's the same for the officer standing outside holding a phone up to the camera?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's going to be
Your
the same
iPhone,
time inside and
Time
outside.
working that day?
Yes, sir.
Has it ever not been working?
Mhm.
That's a no?
No, sir. Sorry.
Now, this camera is showing, when we zoom in here, it looks like it's showing 10:59.
Yes, sir.
All right. And so is that where you're getting that these cameras were about 81 minutes behind, 80 to 81 minutes behind?
Yes, sir.
And that's because the difference between 10:59 and 12:20 is about 80 to 81 minutes. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this next image, slide 6, is this you looking at the monitor for a different camera pointing a different direction?
Yeah, same monitor, just different camera.
Oh, same monitor, different camera.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And does this camera that we're concerned with here in image 6, does this point out towards Ogeechee Road?
Yes, sir. That's Ogeechee Road, right past those U-Hauls.
Okay. And that's you're indicating to like the top right corner of the picture.
Yes, sir.
Can we see any part of the chevron in this image?
Oh, yeah. You look at my vehicle, the
Well,
chevron's right.
Which one's your vehicle?
The police truck
Uh,
on the left side,
All right. And then where's the chevron in relation to that?
just past it.
Okay. Are those U-Hauls in the chevron parking lot?
Yes, sir.
And did this camera have the exact same timestamp discrepancy
Yes, sir.
as the last one?
Yes, sir.
80 to 81 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Slide 7. Same monitor, different camera?
Yes, sir.
And does this one just point the other direction as the camera we were just talking about?
Yes, sir.
All right. And did that camera have the same timestamp discrepancy as the other two?
Yes, sir.
Whole system has the same time, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Therefore, the time discrepancy is going to be the same on all three.
Yes, sir.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
All right. While they're doing that, I think we've cleared all the comments.
The cameras themselves appear to be working when you were out there collecting the footage.
They-
Did you have any issue collecting the footage?
No, sir.
As we were looking at this image, image 6, we see a police truck out there and U-Hauls in the Chevron parking lot.
Yes, sir.
At that time, was there in fact a police truck out there and U-Hauls in the Chevron parking lot?
Yes, sir. That's a live view of what was going on right there.
Okay, so were these cameras accurately capturing what was actually happening in the real world?
Yes, sir.
And does the timestamp discrepancy have anything to do with the accuracy or reliability of the footage itself?
No, sir.
No further questions, Ron.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hilliard?
Thank you.
Mr. Hilliard, before you start, I don't want to take a full break, but if you need to if you feel the need to stand up and just kind of stretch it out, you can feel free to do that. I know you've been sitting for a long
A
time.
little court stretch break never hurt anybody. Are we gonna?
Oh, just stand up and shake it out a little bit. I'll show you what I do.
Wiggle, wiggle. All right, just squats.
All right,
Everybody
guys,
do a
just sitting one more
squat.
time.
All right, now we're gonna have cross-examination of a
Kinda
picture
change the
guy.
channel. Get your blood flowing again.
And we're 1/3 of the
All
way
right.
to the unleashing the emotional support potato pig dog.
Mr. Hilliard.
243 people,
I'm gonna start
156.
where you left off because it makes more sense to work back that way because that's where you were at. With regard to these like, states exhibit number 55 that we just discussed the 80-minute time discrepancy. Okay. Did you ever do any?
Mr. Shinker's.
Give me 1 second. I think it's me.
Okay.
Is that better? Thank you. Sorry about that, Mr. President. Okay, so let's just start with the Azalea cams first. Okay, so on October 7th and October 9th, you noticed some sort of time discrepancy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you documented it, and that's what we just dealt with, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever inquiry or find out when the discrepancy began?
No, sir.
You were just sent out there to collect the footage then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you made no further inquiry other than just to note it.
I personally did not. I don't know if my sergeant or the other officer did.
And again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, just asking you what you did. Okay, so you noted the
Yeah,
discrepancy.
you're
but
kind
you
of
didn't
trying
get
to
the
put
bottom
words
of
in
it
his
or
mouth.
Find out when it started, correct? All right. So let's back up a little bit and go to State's Exhibit 11, which was the one you did prior to that one. So you, on October 6th, you got the Dodge Journey, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you photographed the Dodge Journey,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Did you do anything else other than that, or just take photographs?
Photographed it. We did alternate light on the vehicle to see if there was any like fabric or anything from the scene. We did do a couple swabs of the substance in the back, and we did blue star the vehicle.
Well, and that's why I'm asking is just based upon the testimony I heard, it seemed like it was just a bunch of pictures you were taking, but there was a lot more to it than that, wasn't there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how many people were out there that day on October 6th, I guess, examining the vehicle?
Myself and Corporal Shiver.
Okay, so two of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you went through the vehicle and you've noted the alcohol containers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you seize those?
Did I see them?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they were taken into evidence, correct?
No.
They weren't taken into evidence?
No.
Just photographed them?
Just photograph.
All right. Just curious, why not?
Didn't feel that they were pertinent to the case.
So you don't think it's pertinent to the case, you don't log it into evidence?
Well, if it's not evidence.
Well, you got to collect
who
it as
determines
evidence
whether or not
before you log
something's
it in as evidence, Doofenshmirtz.
So you determined it wasn't evidence, so you didn't log it, you didn't test it, you didn't swab it, you didn't keep it, correct? All right. Let's go on to the next picture. You had a picture of a natural light can in the back, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was back in the passenger seat. And did you seize that and take that into evidence?
No, sir.
And again, I guess for the same reason, you didn't consider it to be evidence?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, whenever someone drinks from a can or touches a can or does something like that, is it possible to have some sort of DNA contact or transference between it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you think that that might be relevant to testing to see who may have been or not been in the truck at that point in time?
It could be, but if they both had, or whoever had access to that vehicle, their DNA and prints would be all over the vehicle.
Okay. All right. But again, you didn't think it was evidence, didn't seize it, didn't test it, didn't do anything further with it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, the substance in the back of the vehicle, which was kind of weird, okay, admittedly. You did take that, though.
I took a sample of that.
And let me ask you this. You said it was some sort of kid cereal,
I believe, I'm not 100% sure.
but it wasn't any biological material.
No.
Okay, it wasn't any sort of cleaning solvent or anything like that, was
No,
it? Okay, but it was, from what you could tell, and I don't have any reason to think, you're wrong, it was some sort of kid cereal or breakfast cereal of some sort that was in the back.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were taking pictures of the inside of the van, I'm going to assume you looked throughout the entire thing.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever find any feces or blood or anything like that in it?
We did find a spot that reacted on the driver's side seat, but that was it.
And what was that?
Appeared to be blood. We just blue started and it fluoresced. And it was just a little spot on the front driver's seat.
Okay, did you seize that or send it for further testing?
No, sir.
You didn't?
No, sir.
And again, just curious, why not?
Didn't believe at the time it was pertinent.
Now,
I will kind of give half a point to the defense there. They found something that on the driver's seat that at least preliminarily tested as possible blood or biological material, and they didn't collect it. Probably not the greatest decision. Okay, that's interesting.
with regards to the rest of the vehicle, did you find anything else of any substance in there? Of any relevance?
There was a spot in the back that we took a swab of and logged in. And there's a couple fibers from the back seat or the back of the vehicle that we collected and logged in.
And what did you do with them once you swabbed them and collected them and logged them in?
That was all I did with them.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, if you look at number 15 from State's Exhibit 11, what was this orange thing and this white thing in the back
Those are traffic vests, kind of like safety vests. And then the white paper was from the dentist, I believe it was. Paperwork.
And what's the little orange thing on the ground right there?
I believe that was another safety vest.
And that was the extent of everything that you found or found relevant from the call, correct?
Yes, sir.
Let's back up and go to State's Exhibit number 10. And actually, it might be easier to look at State's Exhibit number 9. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's do that because it's a better overview, and the other ones are just a lot of pictures to thumb through. So you took a bunch of pictures of the house and the surrounding area, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So looking at State's Exhibit 9, and again, don't want to put words in your mouth, but from what my recollection was, there was a pool in the back, and there was a set of dining room doors and a set of living room doors that led out to the pool area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looked like, and again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, just going from my recollection, that the living room doors opened into a play area.
Yes, sir.
And the dining room doors opened directly onto the patio area. Is that a
Now, I will also just say that anyone who says like 8 times in a row, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, is probably trying to put words in your mouth. Just saying, you're saying a little too much, pal.
fair and accurate assessment of what the pictures you took?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you got there, well, I guess it was on October 5th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When you got there on October 5th, you were sent around to take all the pictures that you took in State's Exhibit 10, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And Mr. Dean asked you to discuss and go through what it took to go from the front door to, I guess, the living room door, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But based upon that, it's a much shorter trip to go from the front door to the dining room door, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's not nearly as circuitous, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I can't tell from the picture, so I'm going to have to ask you. The dining room door opens right out onto the patio, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The living room door opens into a play area, correct?
It's the same patio. It's just got a little gate.
Right. And it seems to me, again, not putting words in your mouth, but the play area seemed kind of cordoned off, and the dining room doors didn't. It kind of opened straight into the pool area.
Yes, sir.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's much easier to get out through the dining room door onto the patio than the living room door, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you were there that day, were those doors open, closed? What were they?
All the doors were closed when I got there.
Okay. Were they unlocked?
I believe so, yes.
So you didn't have any problem opening and closing, or the dining room doors, were they relatively easy to open and get through?
Yes, sir.
And the living room doors, same thing. Were they relatively easy to open and get through?
Yes, sir.
And did you have any difficulty getting through them?
No, sir.
And again, was there anything that indicated that the doors may have been kicked, smashed, broken in any way, shape, or form?
No, sir.
So they were operable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Dean asked about the route, I guess, through the downstairs. It's kind of a fairly odd layout in the downstairs area. I think that's safe to say, correct?
Yes, sir.
But was the kitchen in use?
Yes, sir.
And it was usable, correct? Was the living room in use and usable?
Yes, sir.
The dining room in use and usable?
Yes, sir.
And the front area that we're talking about, where you first enter into the front door area, that front door area enters, what's the street that is directly in front of the front door?
Buckhalter.
So that's Buckhalter Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the dining room and the living room, they open towards the pool, but I assume that's more around back to where the driveway and the garage and all of that was.
Yes, sir.
Again, if I'm misstating it, or I'm just trying to understand it, but that seems to me that, and the area had a gate on it, if I'm not mistaken. I remember you taking a picture of a truck.
Yep.
So there's a gate, and the gate goes around to the back, correct?
Yep.
So wouldn't that indicate that the main entrance and egress to the house is through the back, not the front?
Sure.
Well, I mean, you know the layout better than I do, so.
I don't know what entrance they use, but yes.
Okay. So now, when you were taking all of these pictures, and you took a number of them, you took 475, right?
Something like that.
Somewhere there, about a lot.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not saying these are all them, but you took a lot. When you came across the pictures, you said it was vomit that was in the pack and play, correct?
I believed it was.
You believe it was. Did you seize it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you send it off for testing?
I did not detect it.
So you basically did your job, seized it, handed it off to the detectives, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But the one thing is you're sure it wasn't blood, correct?
I'm not sure.
Didn't look like it, did it?
It did not look like blood.
Mm-hmm.
And not a trick question. You answered this question for Mr. Dean quite readily, so I'm not trying to trip you up. Okay. So
He just
was
answered it readily for you
vomit,
too.
right? Okay. And you don't know how old it was or how long it had been there.
I don't.
Okay. Now, did you notice anything else of any significance in that front room? I noticed at least there was at least 2 other cribs or I guess beds in there. Did you notice any urine, feces, vomit, diapers, things like that in the area as well?
I don't recall.
If you had noticed anything like that, would you have taken pictures of it and recorded it?
Yes.
Did you take any pictures of it and record it?
I don't think so.
So this was pretty much the extent of what you did in the case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you review you said you went and seized the camera footage from Azalea, if I'm not mistaken. So that was you that went out and picked it up,
Yes.
seized it, and then I guess you forwarded it to the detectives, correct?
Yes. Well, we put it on the computer at work.
So, and does that conclude your involvement in the case?
Pretty much, yes.
So there's nothing else you did of any evidentiary or investigatory importance at this point. It's pretty much everything that we discussed and talked about here today, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Officer Fink. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Just a moment. Turn to the state. Is there any redirect?
You were asked about blood in the car, and you mentioned something about this spot on the driver's seat fluorescing.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what you mean? Or blue star or something like that?
The blue stars are chemical we use to look for, it reacts to the hemoglobin in blood, and it will fluoresce blue. So we spray the whole vehicle with it. It's a liquid, and the only part that fluoresces is on the front driver's side seat.
Well, let's take it step by step. You spray the whole vehicle with this chemical, right?
Yes, sir.
Then what do? Do you next have to turn off the lights?
Yeah, it's got to be completely dark,
Okay.
or as dark as you can get it.
Again, step by step. Once you've turned off the lights, what do you do?
Then we spray the vehicle. We would spray the seat, the floorboard, and then see if there's a reaction. If there's no reaction, then we'll move on to another area, and then another area. If we get a reaction, then we'll photograph it.
Okay. And then what does it mean for something to fluoresce or react on when you spray it with the blue star chemical?
It lights up blue.
Okay. Lights up blue.
Yeah.
Okay. In the dark.
Yes, sir.
It kind of glows a little bit.
Yes, sir.
First of all, the spot on the driver's seat that had this reaction, was it, before you turned the lights off and sprayed that chemical on it, did it appear to the naked eye to look like blood or no?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Just like a little spot.
Yeah.
And where in the driver's seat was it?
It would be pretty much right where you would sit.
Right where you would sit?
Yeah.
Like dead center in the driver's seat?
Yeah, pretty much.
And how big was it?
It was just a small, line.
Very small, right?
Yes, sir.
Like almost like a pinpoint or something?
A little bigger than a pinpoint, but not a lot.
Okay. And does the blue star reaction necessarily mean it's blood?
No, it's just a presumptive test.
Now, did you take pictures of that spot before you had turned the lights off and sprayed it with the blue star?
Yeah.
And did you take pictures of that spot with the lights off, glowing blue with the blue star chemical on it?
I did.
And did you make those images available to detectives?
Now, see, everybody being Megan Fox, he looks like Superman. I'm with those of you that say he looks like like Jamie Dutton from Yellowstone. I think he looks a lot more like Jamie Dutton than he does Superman. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think he looks like Jamie Dutton myself. Anyway, let's continue. Neither here nor
Is it
there.
detectives who ultimately make the decision about what particular things in the case need follow up?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more. And just not to belabor the point, but that was one of those things that didn't need follow-up, correct?
I didn't believe it did.
Follow question on that. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Is there any reason not to excuse this witness?
There you go.
All right. You are excused.
All right.
Thank you.
On to our next witness.
Thank you.
Who will it be? Oh, button that up there, buddy.
I think it's a good time for a short comfort break unless you want to. Okay. I'm getting head shakes. Yes. So again, we're going to take a short comfort break. You're going to remain here. And
All right, we will fast forward through the pee break.
Don't discuss the case. Don't do any research.
And until the jury comes back.
So,
and before they get going here, real quick, before this is the perfect time to take the midstream break here, take our own little comfort break to remind you that we have 259 concurrent viewers here watching the Georgia versus LEILANI Simon murder trial. 259 of you and 179 likes. About 80 of you just need to get down there and smash that like button, please. I would be just thrilled and tickled pink as pink as this court officer's shirt is, if you would do me the favor of liking the stream and then hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. And if you have subscribed, just double check to make sure you are still subscribed. And let's see, how's our like and subscribe poll coming? This is the like and subscribe poll, which just reminds you to do those YouTubey things and like and subscribe. What good old fashioned punishments need to be brought back? 13% of you saying being keel hauled, which is being drugged from one side of a ship underneath the keel, and then up the other side. And basically they just drag you. See, it just sounds like, okay, you get dunked and then they drag you under the bottom of the ship and up to the other side. But what you got to remember about those old sailing ships and even the modern ships is they get, barnacles and shellfish and crusty things that grow on the bottom of these ships, coral. So it's basically like being drug across sharp rocks, sandpaper, knives, whatever. So yeah, it wasn't in the salt water nonetheless. So yeah, being keel hauled, being drug under the ship, being scratched and scraped and cut by whatever's under the ship, getting that nice salt water in it. 13% of you said that needs to be brought back. 15% of you said we need to bring back the brazen bull, which is being stuffed inside of a big brass bowl that is slowly heated, and it cooks you and steams you and roasts you alive inside of this brass bowl. 15% of you said that needs to be brought back. 26% of you say we need to bring back walking the plank, which is just like walking off the plank into the ocean from an old sailing vessel. And 46% of you say we need to bring back being hung, drawn, and quartered, which is they drag you by horse into the city center. They hang you until you're just about dead. They strap you on a board. They castrate you, disembowel you, and chop you up into 4 pieces and send them to the 4 corners of the kingdom. As an example, 46% of you say hung, drawn, and quartered needs to be brought back. All right, we'll see how that looks at the end of the show. That was our little comfort break. Thank you so much. And we are still only 1/3 away from 1/3 of our way onto unleashing emotional support potato pig dog cam for day 51. We are currently on day 50. If that happens, that happens. It looks like today may be the end of the streak. We may end the 50-day streak today. We'll just have to see. We're 1/3 of the way there, and we got an hour left. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the trial, day 2 of the Georgia v. LEILANI Simon trial. Who will be the next witness for the state?
As the jurors are being seated, thank you very much. I welcome you back from our break. And
No, nobody looked at anything.
The evidence you shall give the court and jury on the trial of this issue shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, ma'am.
all right, good morning, Detective.
Detective.
When you're ready, Mr. Dean.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your first and last name?
Yes, I'm Maran Lemons. It's Marian, Lemons, Lemmons.
And where are you from?
Richmond Hill.
And did you go to high school in Richmond Hill?
Did.
Are you a detective with the Chatham County Police?
I'm sorry, I was distracted. I missed the spelling.
Lemons,
Marian. Okay.
Lemmons.
I was distracted.
And did you go to high school in Richmond Hill?
Did.
Are you a detective with the Chatham County Police Department?
Not currently.
Okay. Did you work?
And for clarification, I was not distracted by her. I was distracted by Sonier Chris, and you got to correct the pronunciation, Sonier or Sonier Chris. Yeah, we're still waiting for your clarification on that. Sonier Chris gifted 10 Legal Vices memberships. Thank you so very, very much. We are now 2/3, closer than 2/3. What? Now I got to do law math. Yeah, now we're now like 20 away from emotional support potato pig doggies. All right, thank you so much again. Yay! Oh, it's yay, Sonny Chris. All right, there you go. See, you've consciously let me mispronounce that for 2 years. So there you go, Sonny Chris. Cool dude. All right. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate that. Let's see what she has to tell us. She's a detective. Well, she was a detective at the time. Yes, Flux. Yes. Flux says, OMG, she's cute as hell. Smash. Thanks, Flux. I'm with you. See, Flux and I have common tastes.
For Chatham County Police Department.
Yes.
Okay. When did you join the Chatham County Police Department?
Late 2018.
And can you describe your education leading up to joining the police department?
Yes. In May of 2018, I graduated from University of Georgia with a bachelor's in criminal justice.
Go
And
Bulldogs!
when did you go to the police academy?
Go Bulldogs! We got two Bulldogs here waiting for the emotional support potato pig dog cam.
Late 2018.
Okay. Had you already been hired on by the Chatham County Police Department at that point?
Yes.
And they sent you to the academy?
Yes.
And when did you finish the academy?
December of 2018.
And from that point, what did you begin doing for the Chatham County Police Department?
I did about a year and a half on patrol.
And after patrol, did you move into any specialized unit?
Yes, I went to the detectives unit.
And what do you all call the detectives unit formerly at Chatham County Police Department?
The Criminal Investigations Division, or CID.
I want to ask you just a couple questions about the organization of CID at this point. Okay. Can you tell us about the organization and staffing of it? Who comprises the detectives unit or CID?
So in that division, there are several detectives who are general crimes detectives. We investigate everything. There's 2 sergeants who oversee us. There was a lieutenant at that time, and then a captain.
And how does CID become involved in any given case?
Typically, we are kind of like a follow-up unit. When a patrol officer goes out to a scene, they collect the initial information, and if it needs additional follow-up, it'll be sent over to the detectives unit. Or, like in this case, if something immediate and urgent is happening, a detective will respond out.
Well, much like her, something immediate and important is happening right here, right now. Debbie Marie just dropped a $10 super chat. And immediately on the heels of that, Debbie Marie dropped what you're telling me is her 5th super chat online. Hope this helps. It does help. And England with the $10 also says nothing, just there, just the tenor. There we go. Ladies and germs, ladies and gentlemen, for day 51, we've hit the emotional support potato pig dog cam. We have kept it alive 51 days in a row. We are on the road. And following fast on the heels of that, Cheryl Moran has just dropped a 20 for the pig dogs. They will get some snacks for that. We will purchase some snacks for the puppers. They're running their puppy snack supply is dwindling. So for day 51, thanks to all of you, we get to issue the command. That's not the command. This is the command. No, that's not the command either. This is the command.
Release the hose.
The emotional support potato pig dog, Yoda. Strawberry is under the desk, licking my ankle at this point. If she comes up under the table, we will focus on her. But for now, this is our emotional support potato pig dog cam. Yes, we're talking about you, Yoda. Thank you very much, people, for keeping the streak alive. And just a quick reminder, 272 currently watching and 202 likes. 70, get out there and smash it. Smash the like button. All right, let's get back to what's her name? Detective Maran Lemons.
Now, as of October 2022, how long have you been with CID again?
About 2 years.
Okay. And what, if any, training had you gotten to that point, October 2022, in way of homicide investigations?
I have taken, I believe it was in 2021, I took the homicide investigations course with JIPSTIC, which is the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. It's kind of like the mother agency for law enforcement in Georgia.
Okay. And can you describe that course for us? How long was it?
It was 5 days, and it was at the center in Forsyth County.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was in Forsyth City.
Okay. As of October 2022, had you taken any other pertinent courses at JIPSTIC?
At JIPSTIC, I also took Child First, which is a course kind of showing the best practices for interviewing children. And I've also taken interviews and interrogations, probably some other minor ones up to that point.
Can you describe what you mean by best practices for interviewing children? through the child first training that you mentioned?
Yeah, so interviewing children and adults is different. You want to be kind of broad with your questioning. Children are hyperactive too, so you want to make sure you can keep them on, track.
Now, this child first child interview training, how did you end up going to that? Did you volunteer or were you voluntold, as they sometimes say?
Volunteer.
And why was that?
So, like I said, our unit's general crimes, but we do kind of specialize. At that time, I had an interest in working child crimes, so any training I could get on the subject, I wanted to go to.
And as of 2020, October of 2020, did you have any collateral duties involving crimes against children?
In 2020?
As of October 2022, were you involved in the investigation of crimes against children?
Yes, I was.
Can you tell us about that?
Yep. So at that point, I was a part of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which mainly focuses on child exploitation. I also did
Wow.
a large number of child abuse and child molestation cases.
God, that's got to be
Your
rough.
Capacity as a detective with the Chatham County Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as of October 2022, you had investigated child abuse cases.
Yes,
And had you investigated child deaths?
I had.
And had you investigated homicides?
I have.
And had you investigated any child abductions?
No.
And why is that?
They very rarely happen, if ever.
Now, your current positions, what are you doing currently?
I'm currently at the Counter Narcotics team.
Okay. What is the counter narcotics team?
It is a joint task force in Chatham. It's a collection of different law enforcement officers from different agencies in the area investigating narcotics.
And how long have you been with the counter narcotics team?
About 10 months.
You guys call that CNT?
We do.
Is that why when I asked you at the outset, are you a detective with the Chatham County Police Department, you said no?
Yes.
Okay, so you're tasked out to CNT?
Yes.
But you still get paid
Still in,
by,
yes.
by Chatham County Police?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a task force officer with any other task forces other than the counter narcotics team?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that, please?
Yes. Beginning last year, I was a task force officer with the Federal Bureau of Investigation's Child Crime Unit.
And are you still on that task force?
I am.
And how did you get involved in that?
So I had expressed my interest in working those kind of crimes, and I had worked jointly with the local FBI office on several cases, and I was asked to come over.
Now, with that background, I want to ask you about October 5th, okay? And I first want to ask you about the scene. Did you respond to 535 Buckhalter Road
I did.
on October 5th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. I think we heard one witness say that you may be the first detective for CID present on the scene. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay. Who was there from CID before you?
Detective Wilkins and Detective Noble.
Okay. About what time of day did you arrive? Best of your recollection.
I believe it was after 12.
So when you got there, I'd like to ask you some questions to just kind of set the scene.
Yep.
Who was there and what was going on?
So by the time I got there, both Detective Wilkins and Noble were there. Our forensics team had the drone up, and they were beginning kind of a grid search with patrol officers, and we had several outside agencies coming to assist in the grid search.
Outside agencies, who are we talking about?
Yeah, we had a bloodhound, I believe, from Beaufort or maybe Liberty County out there that was trying to track.
Bloodhound gang.
We had mounted patrol from Savannah was out there. Our Marine Patrol unit was out there, and I believe the sheriff's office as well.
Mounted patrol, meaning horse
Horses,
patrol?
yes,
All hands on deck.
yes.
Did you yourself ever enter the residence during your period of time on scene?
Yes.
And how did that come about?
I asked Sergeant Stewart to kind of give me a layout where everyone was staying, what the house looked like, since he was already familiar with it.
And did you go in? Where did you go in, and what did you look at?
I went through the front door into the main living area for the family and looked at where Quentin's playpen was.
And what did you make of the playpen when you looked at it? Any observations that you remember?
It was covered in stains, specifically, a large one on the pillow.
And what did that stain to you appear to be?
Vomit.
And did it smell like vomit to you?
Yes, immediately when I walked through the front door, I smelled vomit.
One moment, please. I'd like to pull up a picture for you. Now, this is image 30 from State's Exhibit 10. is this the pack and play that you're describing, looking at?
Yes.
You said it was covered in stains. Can you point us to any of those in this image?
So, I mean, there's some on the lip right here that I could see, and then on the actual bedding, there were several stains.
Okay. So all this stuff around the edge there, did that appear to you to just be kind of general grime and dirtiness?
Yes.
Did it appear to you to be blood?
No, I was thinking more like Cheeto fingers and the kid touching the side.
Okay. As someone who was actually in the room and looked at it, that's what it looked like to you?
Yes.
I've been doing this lawyer thing for 30 years. I guess 28, over 28 years. And I will say that is the first time I've ever heard Cheeto fingers in court. But see, you just have to say Cheeto fingers, and I go, oh yeah, that's Cheeto fingers. That's totally Cheeto fingers. Oh no. All right, that's good. It's not blood, it's just Cheeto fingers.
No. This is image 32 from State's Exhibit 10. And Officer Schenker, I think, said it appears redder on the screen than it appeared in the residence. Do you agree with that?
I do.
And again, that's very good of both the witness and the prosecutor for saying that this is not what it actually looked like. It wasn't nearly this red. They could have played this up. It looks like blood, doesn't it? It's dark red. It's blood. This could be blood, couldn't it? They could have gone down that road, but they didn't. They very candidly said, okay, this picture is not an accurate color image of what we saw. It was not nearly this red. So good. Kudos to the prosecutor and the police officer for being honest and saying that before it had to be pulled out of them.
Yeah, I have published a paper version for the jury, just in a little bit of white here.
Yes.
I can pass that down. Just to be clear, did this substance appear to you to be blood?
No.
You said it looked like vomit?
It smelled like vomit, yeah.
Now, I would like to play for you a brief portion of what's been introduced into evidence of State's Exhibit 2 and identified as Sergeant Bobby Stewart's body-worn camera footage. Was your observation of the pack and play captured on his body-worn camera?
It was.
And did you make any statements while looking at it, at the pack and play, about what it smelled like?
Yes, I immediately said it smelled like vomit.
Smelled like vomit? I'm trying to get just right to the right spot here.
Chester Cheetah is now a suspect. Yes, now that we've identified the orange on the playpen as Cheeto fingers,
It's not mine anymore.
did we take DNA from Chester Cheetah?
All right, thank you.
All right. This is State's Exhibit 2, correct?
I'm not sure on the number, but I do remember seeing it.
Okay. In any case, what's the timestamp in the top right corner?
It is 12/31/20.
All right, what are we going to hear you say in this bit we're going to play?
That it smells like vomit.
I can't stand somebody else on the thing right here. They got more points. They got the letters.
All right, I'll stop the playback at 12:31:50 on the timestamp in the top right corner of State's Exhibit 2. Did you see anything that looked like blood in the residence in that?
No.
Now, in State's Exhibit 3,
Yes.
slide 27. What time are we at here?
This is 12:43:12.
And is that you on the far right?
It is.
And who are you talking to here?
I'm talking to Captain Wright, who's in the green shirt with the investigations unit, Captain Fandrich, Lieutenant Thompson, and Lieutenant Foster.
And what is going on at this time?
I'm informing them of our game plan, which was to move Daniel Youngkin, Paul Simon, and Leilani Simon to our main precinct for interviews.
And did that happen shortly after this exchange?
It did.
Okay. How was that arranged logistically?
Some of the patrol officers on scene drove the adults over.
And did they all agree to go in?
They did.
Now, where did you all go? I know you've mentioned it by some kind of shorthand,
Yep.
the precinct or something like that. But can you describe in a little more detail where this place is and what it is?
It's the Chatham County Police Headquarters on Chatham Parkway at 295 Police Memorial.
And why did you all want to go there?
So we had people showing up on scene. There's more patrol officers, more search parties, and then some of the family members were also showing up. And we wanted to take the people that were living at the residence at the time that this occurred and get thorough interviews with each one of them.
Now, before we leave the scene,
Before we get to that next question, Babs7 over on Rumble asks the question, hey, Vices, how did this child die? Suffocated, beaten, other? We don't know. We don't know how the child died because she took the body and chucked it in a dumpster. It was picked up by the trash people a few hours later where it was compacted with all the other garbage in the truck. It was taken to a landfill where it was dumped unceremoniously into a section of the landfill, and it was driven over repeatedly by a giant-sized earth-moving vehicle with huge spikes on the tires or treads, depending what it has. And it was sort of, well, let's just say 6 weeks later, they found pieces of arm, pieces of skull, etc. So no idea how the child died, just that it died.
I want to ask you about what happened to the pillow and pillowcase and the pack and play that we were just looking at. I believe Officer Shanker testified that that was taken into evidence.
Yes.
And was the entire pack and play taken as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was that pillow and pillowcase and pack and play put into the property room or evidence room at the Chatham County Police Department?
It was.
And did you eventually sign it out?
I did.
And did you give it to FBI agent Savannah Solomon?
Yes.
And was that so that she could send it to the FBI lab for potential forensic analysis?
Yes, it had to be shipped to Quantico, Virginia.
You were the one that signed it out and gave it to her?
I believe it was me, yes.
Now, how many interview rooms did you all have operational at the Chatham County Police Department at this time, October 5th?
So there's only one room that's set up for audio and visual recording.
And how is that room set up for audio and visual recording?
So there's a metal desk. I think it was metal at that time. There's a desk in the middle and then several cameras that are pointing towards one specific wall with whoever that you're interviewing sits against.
Now, is the entirety of the precinct that you're describing open to the public? Like, if somebody off the street walks in and wants to walk around, can they access every part of the precinct?
No, they can't.
Can you describe what you mean?
Yeah, so that precinct shares a building with the tag office. And once you get to the police side of it, there's locked doors with the police insignia on front. You can't get past those unless you have a key card. And then specifically where our interview room is, there's an additional set of locked doors you have to get through.
Now, past those locked doors into the police side, where the interview room is, are there sensitive areas in there?
Yes.
Can you describe what those are?
Well, we have patrol officer offices for all of the command staff is there as well. Forensics is in there. We have our secured property room and records and dispatch.
So when a normal citizen is back there, is it routine for them to be chaperoned or monitored by a police officer at all times?
Yes.
Now, when you arrived, was the defendant already there?
To the precinct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything that you did between leaving the scene and getting to the precinct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that why she was already there when you got there?
Yes.
Okay. What was it that you did between leaving the scene, 535 Buckhalter, and going to the precinct?
So I was told that there was a older child, I believe he was around 3 years old, Zane, and I wanted to speak with him as well as some family members.
And where was he?
Zane had been brought over to the babysitter Michelle's residence by that time.
And where is that in relation to this house, 535 Buckhalter?
It's across the street, about a block away.
Okay. Did you walk there or drive?
I think I just walked.
Okay. Did you make contact with Zane there?
I did.
And his last name is?
Wharton.
Did you attempt to talk to him?
I did.
Interview him?
Yes.
Can you tell us how that went?
It was on.
First of all, what were you trying to ask him?
Just if he knew where Quentin was. I think I asked if he knew where Quentin likes to hide. I don't know if anything happened last night.
Okay. And was that interview productive in any way?
No.
Can you describe what you mean?
Zane was showing me how fast he could run at that time, so his focus was not on me, and it was hard to get him to acknowledge me.
Aww.
Not only to answer my questions, but to just acknowledge my existence.
Okay. So is it fair to say that the interview or attempted interview with Zane was kind of robust?
It was.
And again, how old was he at the time?
At 3.
Okay. But you tried.
I did.
And again, you have specific training to interview children.
Yes.
And it just did not work.
It did not.
Now, at the scene, we saw an image of the public information officer in Sergeant Stewart's body-worn camera slides. What's her name?
Betsy Nolan.
Okay. Why was she there?
So anytime there's a critical incident, Miss Nolan will usually do some sort of press release, or she'll respond to any media requests for us.
And did media show up to the scene that day at some point?
They did.
Okay. And they had to be held off to the ends of the street to keep the scene secure?
Yeah, at that point, we would have had a grid search in that entire area. So we needed the media to go somewhere specific instead of responding to the scene itself.
Okay. Is it normal for the public information officer to come out to deal with them?
Yes.
Because they want to know what's going on?
Yes.
And she's the one that's responsible for giving a statement from the police department to the media.
Yeah, and if for those of you that didn't see it in the initial questioning of the police officer, the older police officer that testified at the beginning, the defense lawyer was trying to make it a big deal, like, oh, they brought out the public information person, like it was a bad thing, like the press wouldn't have any questions about a missing toddler. Like it was a weird thing. So now he's just reiterating it to cut off the stupid questions from the defense when it's time for her to be cross-examined. So he's like, it's perfectly normal for the public information officer to be there so they can answer questions. I got water hiccups. Water is supposed to cure hiccups. Yeah, I'm sorry for the brief hiccups there.
Yeah, and then relaying any information about what the media needs to put out. At this case, it was a missing child, so she needed them to put out, has anyone seen this child?
Anything unusual or nefarious about Betsy Nolan, the PIO, having been out there?
No.
Okay. All right. So when you get to the precinct for these interviews, Daniel, Paul, and Leilani are already there, right?
Yes.
Okay. And where were they for them?
When I got there, Daniel was in our main interview room. Leilani was in a spare room that we also used as a lactation or nursing room, and then Paul was in a conference room.
Why are they all in separate rooms?
Because we.
Oh, see, this is an interesting thing that happens occasionally. It happened with Zachariah Anderson's trial when he found out his family was here. Other people have been in other trials. Here, Denise Horton says, my first cousin is this POS lady's attorney, Greg Hilliard. This is wild. Wow. I'm being quite harsh on your cousin, because I think he's being a little bit extra. Let's just say that. So, apologies. I hope you can look past my criticism of his job, him doing his job.
We needed to get their statement individually without any other influence.
And were they transported there separately in the first place?
I feel weird when people's family are in chat.
Who interviewed?
Yeah, so at that point we had Agent Snyder's team had joined us. So we had a FBI agent and a detective paired off. So Agent Brad Snyder and I interviewed Leilani. Agent Solomon, Savannah Solomon, and Detective Noble interviewed Daniel Youngkin. And then Paul Simon was interviewed by Special Agent Burns and Detective Wilkins.
I want to ask you kind of a technical question about the indictment here. There are a number of false statement charges in the indictment.
Yes.
Have you reviewed it?
I have.
And it is an element of the false statements offense in Georgia that the matter that the person was being questioned about was within the jurisdiction of the Chatham County Police Department to investigate, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it within the jurisdiction of the Chatham County Police Department to investigate the disappearance of a child who lives in Chatham County?
Yes.
Thank you. So you have these local and federal teams, and you said you were paired up with Special Agent Snyder.
Yes.
And what was the first thing that y'all did?
So Agent Snyder and I had not spoken to Leilani at that point. We wanted to hear it from her what had happened in the last 24 hours.
And did you conduct an interview with her at that point, sometime shortly after your arrival?
We did.
And where was that interview conducted?
In the lactation/spare room.
And she changed her story more than Sarah Boone did.
Myself, Leilani, and Agent Snyder.
And was that interview recorded?
It was.
How was it recorded?
I recorded it on my cell phone.
How was your cell phone positioned during this?
I did a video recording and kind of just set it down on the table, and the camera angle is facing up at the ceiling tiles.
Now, what was the goal of this initial interview? What were y'all looking for?
To hear it from her what had happened in the last 24 hours.
Okay. And did you ask her for an account of her day on October 4th and her night on October 4th and the early morning hours of October 5th?
Yes.
And did she give that to you?
She did.
To the best of your recollection, and I'm asking you to kind of summarize a lot, but what was that account?
So she described getting her wisdom teeth pulled, returning home with Daniel, eventually getting the kids, getting them, together that night. She talked about laying down to sleep that night. Her tooth started hurting, so she left to get Orajel.
And what time was she saying that Orajel trip was at?
Around 1.
And where was she saying that she had gone to get that Orajel?
To the Chevron gas station.
And where is the Chevron gas station that she was referring to?
I believe it's 4800 Ogeechee Road.
Is it the one that we were looking at in the pictures with Officer Schenker?
Yes.
The one right next to the Zelle Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes.
And who was she saying that she had gotten Orajel from?
Her former coworker, Misty.
Now, you've seen the statement that the recorded statement that.
And Misty said, I ain't seen that bitch in months. I don't know what she's talking about.
About this Orajel trip that you're talking about her providing in the lactation room initially, was it substantially the same as what she had told them on scene?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in this this first interview in the lactation room, did she mention anything about a trip to her drug dealer earlier in the night?
No.
Was she asked about Paul's?
And yes, that was one of her actual attempts at an explanation / defense. Was no, I wasn't murdering my baby. I was going to. She literally tells the cops, I was going to pay off my drug dealer. She said I owed him my $80 or $20 or whatever it was, and then I can't remember if she said she owed him 80 and then cash apped him 20, or if she owed him 20 and cashed apped him 80. But whatever, she just told basically the police she was going to meet her drug dealer to. Oh yeah, that time I left the house, because she originally said I didn't leave the house at all. Oh yeah. I did. I remember I did leave the house because I had to go pay off my drug dealer.
Her brother Paul's whereabouts through the night.
Yes.
And as best you can remember, what did she say?
I believe she described him returning home that night from work and maybe stopping in to say hello and then going upstairs to his room for the remainder of the night.
Was she asked about Danny's, her boyfriend Danny's whereabouts and activity through the night, say from, 11 p.m. on or something like that?
Yes.
And what did she say about that, as best you remember?
That he was in bed. I believe she said they were watching a movie.
Okay. Well, all night or what point in time?
Before they went to sleep.
Okay.
Around 12:30.
And was she putting him in bed asleep after that point?
Yes.
Was she asked about when Quentin went to bed and where?
Yes.
Okay. And what did she say about that?
That around 10:30, she'd put him in his pack and play for the night. He took about 40 minutes kind of doing a babbling crying until he finally fell asleep.
Was she asked about any drug use
She was.
she might have engaged in that night?
Yes.
And what did she have to say about that?
I believe at that point she said that she had smoked weed.
Did she mention any other drugs?
No.
Okay. Do you see,
And that eventually changed to weed, cocaine, and Percocet, I believe.
first of all, a disc marked as State's Exhibit 12?
Oh, what's in the envelope? What's in the envelope? CD.
It is the 911 call from the communication center.
Is this something that you eventually obtained and incorporated into your case file?
Yes,
And does that include a certificate of authenticity from the 911 communication center?
it does.
Your Honor, I would move this in as State's Exhibit 12.
Hey, it is admitted.
All right, so this is the disc containing the audio of the 911 call that kicked this whole investigation off, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd like to publish a portion of this recording this time.
Please
All
proceed.
right. Let's hear the 911 call. Portions of it anyway.
And I'm going to play from the very beginning to about 45 seconds in.
9:38:37 seconds, October 5, 2022.
Yeah, I just come 535 Buck Culture Road, we believe some to get that. 535 Buck Culture? Yes.
You said someone they kidnapped?
Yeah, we-
Your 1-year-old son?
So I stopped the playback at 45 seconds in. That file's a few minutes longer, correct?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that the remainder of that is mostly Daniel Youngkin talking?
Yes.
And is that the male voice that we heard on there as well?
It is.
And there's also some of the defendant providing biographical information about her son.
Yes.
And which son did you say it was?
Quentin Simon.
At some point during the investigation, did you learn Quentin Simon's birthday?
I did.
And what was it?
It's 1/8/21.
1/8/21. So that would that put him at 20 months old on October 4th, 5th of 2022?
Yes.
So that's the initial statement that gets the police involved to begin with from the defendant, correct?
Yes.
And what time was that call made? Did you catch it?
I believe it was 9 and 9:40.
You want me to play it again?
Yes.
Okay. 9:38:37 seconds, October 5, 2000.
What time was that call?
9:38 a.m.
All right. So let's go back. To
Bye,
the
Water
lactation
Tiger.
room and your first interview. You mentioned you recorded that on your phone.
Yes.
Is that the only interview you conducted of the defendant on that day?
No.
All right. Do you see in front of you an envelope containing a thumb drive, the envelope being marked as State's Exhibit 13?
Yes. Yes.
Now, broadly speaking, what's on this thumb drive?
It was the October 5th interviews of LEILANI Simon.
Okay. Did those recordings, they're video recordings, correct?
Yes.
From the lactation room on your phone, right?
Yes.
And then later from the interview room?
Yes.
Do those recordings fairly and accurately depict those interviews?
They do.
Now, have those ones been altered or modified?
They've been redacted to comply with the court's orders.
Okay, so some portions have been taken out.
Yes.
All right. At this point, I would like to publish what is on that. Well, let me offer it. I'd like to introduce that, Your Honor, State's Exhibit 13.
No objection, subject to the redactions, Judge.
Exhibit 13 is admitted subject to the redactions.
All right. I'd like to now publish what is on this thumb drive is lactation room first video. Would that be okay, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna get some of the interrogation audio now. I don't think we've seen this or heard this yet.
And actually, as I open it up, I realize that this is a 28-minute video and it is 11:45. Or I'd like you to proceed.
The next video is close to 30 minutes long. We can play that now, or we can hold it until after lunch. Okay, the general consensus is head yeses, and we can move on. So let's go ahead and hear that video, see that video.
All right, well before we get going on this, I was going to end this here at the 2-hour mark in 15 minutes, but you guys are awesome. So we'll just play this all the way through to the lunch break without breaking it up into 2 different streams. So we'll just continue on here. Now, we have seen bits and pieces of the interrogation that was filmed with video showing them, but apparently they just put the phone on the table and recorded the ceiling, and basically for audio purposes. So this is something we haven't heard here on my channel.
That's why he's here. Detective Lemons, I haven't met you yet. I was at the scene earlier, but I just wanted to come here and talk to him and get some more information too, okay? Can you spell your name for us? Leilani. 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 When was your last name? Simon. 2 names or just one? What's your date of birth? 11/30/99.
So right now, again.
Wow, she is almost to the day 1 year older than my son. God dang. What goes wrong in people's lives? God. That's weird to think about.
We're sorry for everything you're having. We can't imagine the emotion that you're feeling right now. But as difficult as it is, just once you kind of think back the last 24 hours, and just kind of give me, what you've been through in the past 24 hours. So we're talking 24 hours would be this time yesterday. So from about 1 o'clock yesterday.
I was at the desk getting the list to people.
Okay.
And I was coming today.
Did you have your son with you?
No, I have other babysitters. I went to work and I left because of a lot of pain that I had. So I just went there and I had them keep the kids.
Where are you working right now?
Eclipse IA and Port Whitworth.
Eclipse, what type of work is that?
Warehouse. Plumbing. And all that stuff. Or whatever. So I called the babysitter and I was getting hold a little bit longer altogether. She had all 3 of them. Because I was one week. Surgery. No one's holding it up.
Any sort of ibuprofen or anything for the
ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen.
It's $800 ibuprofen. It's $15 and $800 ibuprofen. That's all I went. I went home. I took a nap. We officially got about 2, a little bit after 2. I had about an hour and a half nap before we got out and kept things going until they got the kids. And they spaghetti before we picked them up. That's still in the fridge at the house. We went and picked them up and gave them all a bath. You had food? I said, Danny, I'm the red box to get a movie for the kids and all of them to watch tonight. So that's there too. And I put them down to bed and Quentin he's a talker. He doesn't cry when he's tired. He just talks, babbles. So he lays there and talks to himself. It takes him about 40 minutes to fall asleep. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And we're however long it is. He probably fell asleep. Probably was 2:30. Finishing on baths, dinner, cleaning up, all that stuff was done for my bed, and everything, a little bit of TV time, and then, bed. Bed. Oh, my mouth was really bothering me about almost 1 in the morning. So I called Circle K to see if they had a water shop. No. So I got in contact with another one of my friends named Misty that I used to work with, who has a lot of mouth problems, and that's sure she had a water shop. I met her up there at the Chevron. And I called her and got back and went back home. Y'all, so 12 minutes. I got it for my 360. I can show y'all where from. Everything was on the left bills. I got back. Get home, put it in my mouth, check what all the kids again. They were all good.
What time was that?
It was 1:25. I looked at my app when they asked me to. Then I got home. And I was on 12 minutes. Literally what I showed. And I go there, put it in. I checked the kids. Everybody's good. She fell asleep on the couch. Quentin not like this and his blanket and his hand with a towel on his chest and I wasn't touching. And so I go to bed. I wake up about 9, almost 9. And I was supposed to go to work, but because of this, I was just going to stay home today. partially open. But I was like, is that wide open? The door's never open unless somebody's out. No way, normally, ever. So I get up and go shut it. I didn't think enough about it. I just got out of bed. The door's open. Let me shut the door. And I turn around and I check on the kids. This guy's there. Zane's there. Quinn's not there. So I searched the house under the bed, behind the couches, and the closets, and the cabinets, outside, everywhere. The pool, everything. Couldn't find them. I go, okay, did you take them to the babysitters just to give me an easier day or something? Did you like forget to tell me, or did you tell me and I not remember? He's like, no, he was there. He was sleeping in the living room this morning. I was like, well, he's not there. So then I called the cops and I called the shower, just the babysitter, to try to help me look a little bit farther out. Because I got 2 kids at the house and it was my brother was asleep. And I think it was just me searching and screaming. And I couldn't find anything at all. Couldn't even find this copy hat. Put it in the bed.
You said you couldn't find his
cup. Yeah, cup. And then that little Mickey Mouse. So terrible toy. He went in the bed with. I wasn't in the bed either.
Does Quentin take any medication at all?
No, he only had one medical issue, which would hopefully fix itself by the time he reached age of 10. And it's that one of the arteries, one of the main arteries to his heart, doesn't pump like it's supposed to. And that's the only issue he had at all. This boy was walking before he was even 7 months old. It's just a little boy.
Has he ever scrummy his bed? Is it a crib? A
playpen. We did playpen for him.
Has he ever gotten out of playpen before? Like on his own? So he doesn't.
He cannot get up on his own. The boy can't even get his foot up there if you tried.
He can't step on something. There's nothing in the crib.
Nothing in the crib but a pillow and a blanket. And that's the only thing he had. The only time he's ever managed to get out of it was with my oldest son's help. He'd come and grab the side of the playpen and look quick and find out, nobody went to the bottom for the oldest. Then he'd go grab that playpen and snatch it down and get his brother on out. But the playpen's always knocked over when that happens. Everything's out of it. The part that you lay on the, never out of it. Everything's out of it. Nothing was flipped over. Nothing was messed, nothing. Oh.
And you have full custody of him?
No, my mother does.
Okay.
I found myself in a very hard situation where my boyfriend at the time left me and I didn't have a job and my car broke down with me, so I had transportation. So I voluntarily signed over in temporary custody to my mother until I could get up on my feet. I've just now recently got to where at the end of this month we were supposed to be going to put money down on the house, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath for all of us. So after that happened, we were going to begin the process of getting me back in custody and legal rights.
And your mom lives with you?
That's her house that we were at. And I was like, since she has temporary custody, I wanted to make sure, we would all want to make sure that we were, the kids were, they were supposed to be legally unbooked, because like, I could have had to move up to North Carolina, even though it was a little 2-bedroom apartment. I could have done that after, but I was homeless for 2 months before I even got that. So, okay, y'all.
I know.
You're so little, you're so sweet. You're so sweet.
I can't imagine what you're going through. I wish I had some tissue. Do you have any tissue? Is that any tissue?
No, I got serious. I don't need any clothes. Okay. I dropped it.
What is that?
I dropped it. I have the color on it.
We're going to, you can rest assured, that everybody working this is going to do everything feasibly possible to help find your son. Okay?
My father, I haven't been terms since before I was pregnant. He stopped talking, and 3 weeks later I found out I was pregnant. So, like,
what is his name?
The father's name is Henry Moss. He goes by Bubba. And,
when was the last time you saw him?
I haven't seen him in over a year.
Does he know where you live?
He does. Because I try not to be like every mother out there. So when I moved back down here and I knew that it was substantially closer to where he stayed at, I was just like, well, this is where I'm at. If you want to see your son, let me know. Here's an address. Or if all he was trying to do was use Quentin as an excuse to get in my pants. So I started denying him to visit his son.
When did you do that?
4 months, 4 or 5 months ago.
4 or 5 months.
Started denying him. Started ignoring him. We blocked him on everything. The Facebook that I had tried to pull him out was the new one that he recently sent me a friend request for. So I could see if I tried to get in contact with him, but I'm blocked on that. So I have no contacts, I have no numbers.
Are those still on your phone?
Huh?
Are those messages still on your phone, maybe?
I don't know if it's still on that phone. I have multiple different phones. I'm sending like 3 Facebook posts.
Do you have your phones here?
There.
Okay. Do you mind if we get the password to your phone so you can look it up?
Yeah, you see, I tried to pull it up.
Is it a drawing or is it just numbers?
Oh, it's 1864.
1864?
1864.
I don't know about listeners because that phone, like I said, it's a form I use for my mother after my own purse. And you have to make new accounts. So I'm not too sure if it's on that account or if it's on the other account. But I know when I tried to search them up today to try to show the officers or whatever, because one of the last messages I remember getting it from him said, "You do not deserve to have Quentin. I'm going to get a paternity test and I'm going to take my child." Yeah.
Henry said that.
Yes. Bella said that. Bella knows.
Henry said that?
Yes. When? 3 weeks ago. You remember? And then today was the first time that my babysitter, when I heard her talk.
I paused it at 11 minutes and 54 seconds in. I just want to ask you some questions about what the defendant just said there. Can you just sort of recap for us what she was saying about these supposed Facebook messages from Quentin's father, Henry Bubba Moss Jr.?
She was describing Henry Moss's Facebook account that they had been communicating and that he had been saying that he was going to take Quentin after he gets a paternity test.
And she was saying those messages had been sent when in relation to this interview?
I believe those specific ones she said a few weeks prior.
Now, did you look in her phone that day?
I did.
And were you able to see any messages along those lines in her Facebook?
No.
Was she able to pull them up and show it to you?
No.
Did you at some point obtain a search warrant for her Facebook records or a portion thereof?
Yes.
And did you send that to Facebook?
I did.
And did they send you some information in response?
They did.
Some of her Facebook records?
Yes.
Were you able to find those messages that she's describing in the Facebook records that you got back?
No.
And I'll resume playback at 11 minutes, 54 seconds where I left off, Your Honor.
Okay.
But she seemed hard to sit in the house quite a few bit recently. And I looked at her and said, "Hey, you're so mean about that. I told your mother, but she didn't tell me I was the one here."
Yeah.
I could have been more cautious if I felt like somebody was watching the house.
Now, every question that we ask, I promise you, you're going to think that, we're intruding on your privacy, but I can assure you every question that we ask has a purpose to try to figure out, every feasible possible angle there is to this case. So with that, we're not looking to get you in trouble for past drug use or past drug abuse. But it's until we.
Hey, whatever medicine they checked up in my mouth yesterday.
So do you owe any debts to anybody? Do you have anybody that you?
I don't know that I mean. I do not borrow. I do not front. I don't do anything like that. I don't owe anybody any money at all.
How much marijuana? How frequently do you use marijuana?
Once a night.
Once a night.
Twice a night before I go to bed. When the kids are asleep, everything's handled, dishes, food, kitchen. Time when I go to sleep, I have severe anxiety.
And where do you get the marijuana from? Do you purchase it yourself, or do you get it through?
I purchased it myself. There's been times that I've lots of expense fees on CBD, actual, and that's what I've been doing a lot lately. I think the last time I bought, actually, off the street, 3 weeks ago, it was minimum 8. Because I've been trying to use this dispensaries around the house.
So nobody has any sort of motives to do any harm to you, to get back at you because you owe them money. Like going back to your time in North Carolina, there's nobody that would want to cause harm to you or to your family that you can think of. Any person that you got sideways with when you were running with the wrong crowd. Is there nobody like that at all?
No. I know Daniel's the one from North Carolina. I moved up there to be with him. Daniel's the one from North Carolina. I know that I have caught him cheating multiple times. I have been in contact with his exes before because of it. I remember then I might even pull up messages where his ex was pretty much saying that send him on back home. I miss my best friend. It's one paragraph. I can't really tell you, but I told her, I was like, he's a good man, he's a good husband, he's a good father, and you don't miss out, is what I told her. So any type of altercation between me and somebody else, would have been over him in public with another woman. But at that time, I didn't never have my kids touch it. I never had my kids touch it. Nobody even knew them. I didn't even know what they looked like. So, I'm confused.
And who all lives in the house that your mom lives? Who lives there? I understand the kids, but adults.
Paul.
Who's Paul?
This is my little brother.
That's your brother. Who's the gentleman that's sitting here with you? Okay.
And then Daniel and me.
And Daniel is
my youngster. And then my stepdad and my mom.
Is that
3 dogs. Kids.
Tell me about Paul. What does Paul do?
I just got a job with me at the warehouse. He's honestly studying to take his ass back to take to go to the military. Whatever. I haven't had much communication with my brother over the past year. he went down different roads, I went down different roads, me and my mom were all on and off. And so I was like, it's myself with the family, which is kind of weird when Carolina came in the world. So, he just finished his GED. He works 2 to 10 shifts.
So he goes in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, comes home at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, so like he's leaving, normally it's like 1:20 when he leaves, and by the time he gets home, it's about 10:30.
Is he driving himself there?
Yeah, he drives a white Silverado at the house, and he's which is my stepdad's truck. My brother just got permission to use it. I'm supposed to be taking him to pick up his truck from Midway sometimes in the week.
Is that her at the house now?
Yes, the Silverado's at the house, and my dog is at the house.
And Paul was at the house when Quentin was missing?
Yeah, because I got up and I started yelling and screaming for anybody, and everybody please come help me.
Where was he?
My brother was upstairs in his room. Yeah, I went to one of them and started yelling at him, please come help me, I get my Quentin. I think one of the very first things I said to him was just, please tell me for some weird reason you got him upstairs. He got me another child.
Is Quentin a kid that, I know you mentioned he talks himself to sleep. Does he cry? Does he cry himself to sleep over?
And he's like I can't even explain it. He just lays there. Babbling. He goes on and on and on. Like, most of the time it's not even words. And then there's this Mama E.T. Like,
what kind of relationship does Paul have with Quentin?
They're playful. When Paul gets home, if I need help, he is very helpful with the kids. If I need him to watch the kids while I'm cooking, if I need him, anything like that, cleaning wise, or he'll just go in there and lay on the floor and play with them with the kids, the dog and the kids, and the toys. That's normally it though. Maybe hang out and play an hour more a day. Because normally I kind of try to keep all my kids inside the house. But I was on installed up running through the house trying to clean up everything all day long.
Any reason at all for Paul to leave the house after he got home? What time he gets off work at 10, so what time do you normally get home?
At 10:30, and then he gives his friend a ride when he goes like 11.
So what time did you get home last night?
10:40.
10:40. Do you know whether he left the house after 10:40?
He didn't go nowhere.
So from 10:40 until you went and woke him up at about 9 o'clock?
He was upstairs in his room.
And no indication that he left, you didn't hear the door open, nothing?
The door opening, the truck didn't even look like it was moved, and the sliders were like at all.
So from your perspective, 100% Paul was at the house from 10:40 until you woke him up this
morning? Yes.
What was Paul's initial reaction when you went up and said, hey, Quentin's missing?
He jumped up and he kind of looked like freaking out. He was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Because he's missing. I was like, he's missing. I can't find him. Come help me. And I started running back down the stairs. And opening closets, cleaning the closets, everything, under the sinks, everything. And Paul was out there running and chasing and looking. And finally looking at him, I was like, call him up.
So the first phone call that went out, was that a phone call that Paul made or a call that you made?
The first phone call that went out was when I made the Danny. When I got up and I shut the door and I went and checked on the kids and I noticed that he wasn't there. That was the very first phone call that went out about Quentin being gone. The second one would have been to Michelle or whatever. And when she said that she didn't see anybody coming to the house and nobody picked him up, didn't see nothing like that. And then she came over and tried to help him as well. And she was like, you want to check the closets again? I was like, we can't call the cops. We're going to call the cops. The cops were called by 9:30.
And you made that call?
Yes. I'm going to call them.
Did Danny make any calls?
He attempted, I think he was trying to, but something was going on with his phone. Maybe while I was running, I making the call.
And let's talk about Danny. So how long have you and Danny been dating? Or have you been engaged?
We've been together for almost 2 years, engaged for the past year.
So Danny and Bubba, they're aware of each other?
They have never met or spoke to each other at all. Never. I don't even think. I know Danny knows what Bubba looks like. Bubba don't know what Danny looks like. That I know of. I'm aware of. So there has been no altercations between Danny or the other fathers to my kids. There's no altercations between them at all. I try to be the middle person about everything.
So what's Danny's routine? Any given day, what's his daily routine?
His daily routine, if we gotta work, he's up and on about 5. He gets ready to start taking his babysitters about 5:30. Doesn't normally sleep another 2 minutes. I said, I'm only dressed. Then we go to work. We get off. Yes, we work the same shift, 6 to 2. 6 a.m. to 2:30.
Today just happened to be your day off.
Today just happened to be. I was in Switzerland yesterday and I wasn't going to work. So about that, when he gets off, we can't leave the warehouse at all once we get there. So there's no going out for lunch or nothing like that. So when he gets off, we normally stop by to the convenience or gas station or something to drink, snacks, sometimes snacks for the kids or dinner. And then we go straight from there to pick up the kids. We pick up the kids and we go home. Then normally comes dinner while I'm getting the kids interested from getting home. So when I take him inside,
Last night, did he cook the spaghetti last night?
no, I cooked spaghetti last night because no seasoning.
No seasoning.
No seasoning.
So when he got home from work last night at what time?
4:30? No, it was we left work together yesterday for my wisdom tooth because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to drive. They were gonna inject me or whatever. So we were home early yesterday. We didn't pick up the kids until 4:30. And I wanted that. But I think spaghetti before we were there.
What did y'all do when you got from the time you got home until 4:30? Y'all just hanging out the two of you at the house?
We did like clean up laundry, setting the meat up for us. We got cut up the sausages and mashed potatoes or whatever.
So y'all were there at the house together.
Yeah, we were there together the whole time. I think we went up to the store once for a beer. That was it.
What time would that have been?
3:45, right before we had to kids.
And then, did he leave the house at any other time between, once you went to get the kids, you came home, he ate the spaghetti, did Danny leave between that time and 5:45 this morning? Never at all. He was at the house.
He was at the house the entire time.
How do you know that?
I could see one bed.
He was beside you.
He was on bed.
Y'all slept in the same
Yeah,
bed?
we sleep in the same bed. We only have one side of the house. So we got the kitchen that we only really use to cook in, obviously to clean up. We got our bathroom, then there's the doorway to our bedroom. And our bedroom is just like pretty much like one big studio bedroom. We had one side of the room is like the kids' sleep/living room, and then the other side was our bed. Whatever. That's the only side of the house we had. I just say for a fact that he was there, and it was like the bed pissing me off and I hope he didn't do anything this morning.
That is so weird. I know I shouldn't comment, but that's just that noise gets weirder and weirder every time she makes it.
And I did. I put him in there after we ate, bathed, bath, everything, lay down, had the tablet set up for him and everything. But he was like, I should have tablet. And when I took that away, he was for about 40 minutes.
And what time did you take the tablet away?
9:50.
9:50.
9:52.
Was he asleep at that point, or he was still battling at that
He was
point?
babbling at that point. He didn't fall asleep till about 10:30, 10:40. But then he was still, when I took it away, that's when it was, I can't even make a noises again.
So during that time, when you hear him battling, you don't go there and check on him, you just hear it.
Yeah, we heard babbling the whole time, but whatever. The way that it is set up, I was checking on him like that's on the bed. So I'm just hearing the babble. It's when it gets quiet that I check. That's when I'm worried. So when it got quiet, that's when we went in and checked 12 something before I left to go get something. Or so I checked again. Sleep.
Where is Danny when he left?
Thank you. I think we need to take a brief pause. I'm going to ask the jurors to step into the jury room.
Ooh, something's happening. Ooh, come on, camera, don't do this. Avert your eyes. All right, this is something. Something's going down.
So it came to my attention. I noticed it, and Mr. Bryant, the clerk, noticed as well that one of the jurors was sleeping.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, juror, no, don't be sleeping. Oh no. All right, let's see how the judge handles this. Her options are to do nothing, to reprimand the juror, or two, to give the juror the boot. It's you weren't paying attention to the testimony. You're out of here. Well, let's see how the judge handles this.
And I was keeping an eye on him, but it seemed to continue. So I thought it's better for us to stop and address it now. I can remind them all of the need to stay awake and to help each other stay awake. But it seems it's pretty early in the day, and it seems to be a problem already. So I want to turn to counsel and ask you how you would like to
give him the boot
with this, Mr. Hilliard.
Judge, I can just tell you, in the past, in the past, when you have long, dull, dry stuff to get through, just chopping it up, whether they want to take a break or not, tends to do that because they have to get up, go do that, come back. So it's the routine breaks are not just, it's to kind of keep them moving and keep them engaged. That's the first thing. The second thing, though, I didn't think about this, but it did come up, and I think we're probably getting to the time delay right now where it may matter. is, I don't think it was intentional, but the child's names were mentioned on the record. And I just would like to know if there's any way we could possibly edit that out from going out over the air.
Too late, pal.
I know normally routine
Goes live.
we redact along the way, so it wouldn't go out, but the names were testified to and dates of birth and things like that. And I don't know if there's any way to possibly do it. So.
Mr. Dean, let's first talk about the sleeping juror, and then we'll talk
Yeah.
about that. So do you want to just remind them to stay awake at this point and we give it a go? Because I also understand too, we're mid-morning. It's a lot to have to listen to.
There's only 3 minutes left in this video. I think we could just press forward and take a lunch break and tell them to get coffee if they're coffee drinkers.
Okay. Now, as to the redaction request.
I have no intention of doing that. I mean, these children, their identities and their presence in the house is part of the evidence of the case. I mentioned it in an opening statement. The involvement of other surviving children is one of the reasons that I objected to the presence of cameras in the courtroom to begin with. I understand that based on aspects of Georgia law that impose a strong presumption for open access, that the court made the court's ruling on that. But I don't see any way around it. I'm not going to do an entire trial where I'm referring to these children as Z, W, and S, Y. It's just unmanageable.
I'm not asking them to do that. What I'm asking is that their personal identifying information like dates of birth and full names just not be aired. He can do whatever he wants. The request really has more to do with what goes out over the television, Judge. It doesn't have anything to do with Mr. Dean or his presentation of evidence. I understand he can do what he needs to do in here, but that information going out is what my concern is about the children.
So I understand that. So are you asking, for instance, that Detective Lemons not use the entire dates of birth of the children?
Not using dates of birth or any personal identifying information, and if the media could just maybe bleep the full name down. I'm not asking them to censor themselves. I understand they have to do what they have to do, but it doesn't have to be aired. That's my only real concern, Judge.
Okay. So I'm hearing dates of births, personal identifying information, and I really don't know anything else. The date of birth, I believe, is given for Quentin, and I understand that. I don't recall hearing that for any of the other children.
Zane's full name was given, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, I'm not trying to hinder the state in any way, shape, or form. This really has more to do with Zane and Scott, Judge, at this point. So I'm just asking if maybe they could bleep it or modify it or in some way, shape, or form, change what happens before they send it out. I know we're on a 30-minute delay. They have a few minutes where they can do that and at least edit that. That's all I'm asking. It's just to protect the children's identities. And other than that, like I said, I understand the state has to do what it has to do.
First, I do understand that you're not trying to affect how the state presents this case. I get that. And you bring up the point that we do have a 30-minute delay with the media. So I would ask the media to not publish full dates of birth of the children. You can use the birth year, and not to publish first and last names of the other two children.
It doesn't hinder the state, and it does protect the children. That's really my only concern.
Okay, very good. We'll proceed in that way. And so let's, Mr. Dean.
I'm sorry, far be it from me to intervene on behalf of Court TV here, but I did say their full names in opening statement. That's been released. I think their full names are part of the public record even before we got into this week. So I don't know, imposing an order on them to redact like the last name every time somebody says it, I think is maybe a little burdensome. I think it's kind of water under the bridge at this point.
You know, I do think it's burdensome. I do think it's water under the bridge. I think that we're going to proceed as we have been. So I am not going to impose that restriction on the media. It's a 30-minute delay. I'm not going to impose that restriction on the media. That information, some of that information is already in the record at this point. We're going to proceed. Mr. Hilliard, I do understand your concern for the identities of the younger children or the other children being not published, but we're going to proceed as we have been.
I made the record. I understand.
Thank you, sir. All right. Please bring the jurors in.
All right. The juror narrowly avoided, I guess. Well, the juror avoided being tossed off the jury. Now, I'm a little more unforgiving on that. I think if a juror falls asleep, they didn't hear the full trial. even if nothing of real import was stated during the time they were taking a little nap. I just think a sleeping juror should be removed from the jury. That's just me. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? One for the jury should be the jury should be removed, and 2 in chat if you think it's a no harm, no foul thing. I'm curious to what you think. And see, again, the only reason I really think so is even if it's not important, they didn't listen to the whole trial.
Please have a seat.
Most of you seem to agree.
And the rest of the courtroom as well. The good news as we begin this video is that there's only about 3 minutes or so left. I'm just going to ask you all. It's really hard, and I get it. It's quiet, and sometimes things are droning on. Do your best to stay awake and to pay attention to what's here. I know it's difficult, but let's give it a try. And so with that, Mr. Dean.
That was very nice
To make the record clear, I stopped the playback at 25 minutes and 12 seconds into the file, and I'll resume it now.
On the couch, on the bed. He's on the bed watching something. Can't remember. Cops go to heaven, or something about cops in heaven. After like 5 minutes.
Does Danny, is he a drug user at all?
Don't laugh like that.
If he anything, if anybody would say does anything, he drinks. And that's only like 6 5 days. On a good day.
Has Danny ever been violent with the kids at all? No.
Never been violent towards me. Most time I've ever seen him is he's no horn.
So Danny gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning, this morning specifically. Gets up at 5. Do you hear him leave the house?
No, I didn't hear him leave at all, which is why I told him, I said, well, if you did drop him off and you get to, like, I don't remember if you took him somewhere. I didn't even know he got out of bed this morning. So, that.
You normally sleep that heavy? You don't?
No, I think it had a lot to do with was just tired, pain, everything. So I was like, I was out when I was finally out.
And, Quentin, he didn't get any medications last night. He wasn't sick, no Robitussin, no cough syrup, nothing like that. He didn't have.
They all the kids have been a little stuffy. My fear is just to change the weather. So I don't give a medicine unless you're running a fever or like sound like you're about to die.
Where do you keep all the medicine?
In my bathroom cabinet or in the kitchen cabinet above the sink.
Does he ever go in there by himself?
Maybe he can get up there if he wanted to. Even with the little stools and chairs, his little, it's short and bow-legged. Okay, his legs are like this. And he stands up his head maybe a little bit above my knee.
When did you call? What time this morning did you call? Danny?
I remember looking at the phone while I was yelling and I couldn't find Quentin. It was like 9:17 at that point.
Was that before or after 911? Did you call? Danny?
That was before, and then when I looked around again and still couldn't find him, I called again. We called 911 after that. No one was called by 9:30. I realized Quentin was missing by 9. I said 30 minutes later, we trying to find him and see if I could locate him, and then calling Danny to see if he knew anything. And he did, so I called the police. And Michelle, she came over right away. It was like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to act right now, man.
And is Danny, what is his normal routine? If you get up, if he leaves, well, this is a little odd because you didn't go to work with him this morning.
I'll stop the playback there at 28:04.
Okay. Thank you. So I think this is as good a time as any to take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to release you now for a lunch break. We're going to break. The time now is 12, almost 12:30. Let's aim to be back ready to go at 12:20. That'll give them an opportunity to eat, maybe get an opportunity to get outside also. What did I say? Okay. Really bad math. So thank you for that. And I'm glad y'all got that. So again, do not discuss the case. Do not do any research. Do not look at any media.
Okay, well that ends the morning of day 2. Tomorrow we'll pick up at the afternoon of day 2, and we'll do as much as we can tomorrow. I'll have a little bit more time tomorrow evening, so we'll run a little bit later tomorrow. So, all right, we got we got some of this we got the interrogation video, the initial questioning. And it was weird, that laughter, that first I thought she was like sobbing, like, then I realized she's laughing. That was wild. All right, well, that was some pretty straightforward testimony. We know since then that it's changed a lot from what she said. Yeah. Well, let's see where we can send you here. Let me find a landing place. I have to go into the studio for this. What are you grumping about? What are you grumping about, Strawberry? I'll be with you in just a minute. We'll play here in just a minute. Relax, doggy. And while I'm doing this, let's see where you all stand. 319 concurrent viewers, 257 likes, and our like and subscribe poll. 13% of you said we need to bring being keel-hauled back. 15% of you said the brazen bull needs to be brought back as a punishment. 24% of you say walking the plank needs a return to prominence. And 47% of you, nearly 1 in 2, nearly half of you, said we should go back to being hung, drawn, and quartered. Dang, y'all are harsh. Okay. I am looking for a landing spot here, peeps. Bear with me. Let's see who we can redirect to right now. We've got Trial TV, Nick Starro, Brian Steele tries Blaylock's case. So more we haven't gone to Catnut Williams in a while. We haven't gone to Nick Starro in quite a while. We'll go to Nick Starro, who is covering the YSL trial. Well, that's where we're going to go. We're going to go over to Nick Starro, tell him hi from Legal Vices. I'm going to go play with the dog for a bit. Kiwi says, I miss it. What is the brazen bowl? The brazen bowl was they had a giant like brass bowl. It was hollow inside. They would put you inside, close the little brass door, and put a fire underneath it, and basically cook, steam, and broil you alive inside this brass bowl. And your smoke, the smoke from your burning flesh, would come out of the nostrils of the bull, and there was some sort of acoustic thing they had to where your screams would sound like a bull bellowing. Yeah. So that's what it was. It's a particularly horrible. It's been described as the worst torture in human history. Right. So that's it. We're going to go on over to Nick Starro. Thank you very much for the support and getting us to day 51 of the Emotional Support Potato Pig Dog Cam. Let's see what will happen on day 51. Tomorrow will be day 52. Will we get through it? And again, tomorrow will be another Safe from Politics day here on the Oldie stream. Right. Thank you, mods, for being super moddy as always. Love you. Couldn't do this without you. And thank you, chat, for the support, the super chats, the gifted memberships, the purchase memberships, and thank you for just being here and talking amongst each other and keeping us company and showing some interest in this particularly horrific trial. We'll see you all tomorrow. Take care and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night. From Strawberry, me, and the ever sleeping Yoda. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bye.